Is Caleb Williams the right quarterback for the Bears? Did Chicago finally, did they get it right at quarterback?
Smitty, here's the deal. I have seen 50 different dog shit quarterbacks play in Chicago for the last 40 years. They're awful. And you know what? It only enhances your perception and what you can, what would you accept? What do you assess to be a good one? I had high hopes for Jay Cutler, but, he blew out. Trubisky was a wish. Justin Fields couldn't process quick enough. All these different quarterbacks, they have issues. Let me tell you something. And I really wasn't Caleb's Hollywood and all that, and that's not really my bag. But I'll tell you this. Go back. There's a dozen plays. Go back and watch the dozen plays that he made last year that, Mahomes couldn't have made them. I'm just saying. Those are special gifts that only a few people on the planet, only a few of us could even think about, making one of those plays. But he made 12 of them with a horrible offensive line that gave up 68 sacks, with virtually no running game. He was a one-man, band, and the offensive line, there was really, just spots and glimpses of some greatness. And I think what Ben Johnson said, now you guys know that Ben Johnson, he could have had the Washington job last year. But he said, no, I'm going to stay. Yeah, he wanted to win a Super Bowl. That didn't pan out. But he knew there was no quarterback in Washington that he could kind of hang his future hopes on.
Right.
Well, guess what? They've gotten a pretty good one in the last year's draft.
They do.
But guess what? The reason he came to and we all know he was the number one candidate. Vrabel was probably 1B, but he was number 1A. And I remember the Bears put together this 20-coach search list, and I'm saying, what a bunch of stupid asses. Don't insult people. When you go to your wife, you say, okay, I made a list of these 20 chicks. You're the first one. If no, you say
they don't pan out.
Zero for me. Rather, well, yeah, I said, go to Ben Johnson and say, we need you, we want you. They didn't do it. Guess what? Ben Johnson came to the Bears. He came and said, I was born to be the Bear coach. And why was that? They asked him, Caleb Williams. He knows Caleb Williams is the missing link to get and now think about this, guys. And Jalen Hurts didn't win the Super Bowl, but he didn't lose it, right? In the past, Mahomes has had to win it, but the Bears know that they've got a player that won't lose it like a Jalen Hurts. But if he has to, if you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, Caleb Williams can win it. He can find a way. He did it a couple of times this year, and Ben Johnson was watching. And I got to tell you, and kind of a strange happenstance. I told my wife, long ago I won the Brian Piccolo Award, which is for the rookie that wants to win as much as Brian Piccolo. That's basically the criteria. And I was very proud when I was a rookie that I won it. Well, this year, the Brian Piccolo Award was to be held tomorrow morning at 10:30. And who is the recipient? It's not Caleb Williams. It's Rome Odunze, the receiver.
Yeah.
I think Rome's going to be awesome. And Rome is going to be the big brother to Caleb. When Caleb starts doing a bunch of stupid shit and painting his fingernails, Rome's going to say, hey, homie, back off. keep everything focused here. Rome is going to be pay dividends. Those two together, they're going to be great the next decade. But the point being is, I was going to go to the awards tomorrow just to meet Ben Johnson. Because I am so excited about what he is bringing as far as a level of competence and belief and dreams of what is possible for this program. Now, it's been 40 years exactly since we won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we went to one. We didn't really have a chance. But the point being is the one key ingredient that every team has to have, and when you put your head on the pillow at night, you know if you got it or not. We have never had it. Well, guess what? Now we do. And it is a quarterback that has a level of ability that is going to be special. And one thing, think about this. Jared Goff, okay, he was basically, they run him out of LA. They said, we'll do anything to get Stafford. We'll throw him in on a what was 2 number ones and Goff. I mean, they really disrespected him. Look at the reclamation project that Ben Johnson performed on him. And good for Jared Goff, which is great. But all that being said, Jared Goff is a Ford Fairlane, and Caleb Williams is a Porsche 911. Now, that, what you're starting with. And I'm just saying, the next 3 years is going to be very exciting, seeing how this all works out and develops.
Dan, you got me excited right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm the guy on the show who I'm not like extremely high on Caleb. Like I didn't think Caleb would be like the next Patrick Mahomes. I thought it was a little unfair assessment, but I did think his skill set would make him a good quarterback in the NFL. My counterpart here, my co-host, thinks from the beginning that he was not going to be good in the league. But hearing from what you're saying, sound like me and you are more aligned as far as the direction that Caleb will go. So JB, I don't know if you have any quick thoughts to this or not.
Yeah, Dan, I got to ask you real quick. We had Mike Martz on the other day, and he was mentioning how much of a fan he is of Ben Johnson. And he said that he will not tolerate, undisciplined QB play. Let me ask you, do you think that Ben's going to be in the position to either shit or get out the pot when it comes to the maturation of Caleb? And if Caleb can't perform or come up to the expectations that you mentioned or that we put on him as a fan base, that he's the guy to get rid of him before they have to pay Caleb? Is he going to be that guy? Is he that thought of there? Is he going to be the coach that says, we're going to lead you to the promised land? You gotta listen to me. And this is the year, right? Caleb's performance under Ben's tutelage is going to be critical this year, right?
Okay. And this is a special. And see, Caleb, I grew up poor. My dad died of cancer when I was young, and we did. And I wanted to, I had to be great. I wanted to be great, to make a living and all those things. But Caleb's already got all this. He's already got all this. Now, what is going to keep him motivated and wanting to, be, a great player? Okay. All those things, certain players, it's a byproduct. Like Walter was like me, we were just looking for a way to make a living. And, oh, by the way, if I make all pro, I get paid more. And, it was a great incentive. All those things. Yeah. But Caleb didn't have that because he's already got everything. Okay. That being said, by the way, there's only 2 quarterbacks in history that had at least 30 rushing touch. Only 2 quarterbacks in college football history had 30 rushing touchdowns and 30 passing touchdowns over 2 years. And who are those? Mahomes and Caleb. The only 2 that had 30 over a 2-year period of rushing and passing. So there is so much of a similarity when I see his skill set with Mahomes. But all that being said, the first thing that Ben Johnson said when he took the job is he said, he said, when I talked to the team, I said a pretty simple thing. In fact, I actually wrote it down. He said the 2 things, and let me make these crystal clear. We are the coaches, and we have a plan, and that is our job. Your job is to execute it. And then he addressed the offensive line. But this is not going to be a quarterback that's running his own show. It's going to be a quarterback that listens and is, given the nuances that will separate him from being a real good player into a great one. And let me just say this. The one thing that I know for a fact, and just watching the game, Caleb's footwork is all over the place. And you say, well, he's a good athlete, it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? It does matter. And it especially matters in Ben Johnson's offense. And I know this because, I've talked to people, and there are, the difference between a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, 7, all of those things, all the different footwork, he doesn't have it now. But rest assured, while we're, doing this,
Oh, yeah, they're working. They're working, yeah.
Ben Johnson has got his ass out there, and they're working on it because he knows that the beginning of anything is your foundation.
And he stayed his ass in the gun last year, and Ben's going to get it under center and run some shit, some waggle and misdirection. It's a lot harder as a defense, as you know, to defend under center shit than it is sitting in the gun all damn day as far as play action and different things. So I'm excited to see what Ben does with him as well. I just love good coaching. And if he can get that kid under a structured environment where he understands, all right, there's all these different deals. I got to go under center. I got to be able to get the 3-step, 5-step, no hitch, 7-step, all these things that Ben's going to master. I love to see it. I hope, I'm never going to root against a kid. I just want to make sure that mentally is he the guy? And that's what I'm yet to see. So hopefully it happens. And the conversation and the topics and the stuff you brought up are great points, man, because it's going to be interesting to see this thing unfold here under Ben. So I'm excited, man. I can't thank you enough. I'm a good friend of Jared Payton, Walter's son, who comes on quite often. So he's a huge fan, obviously, of yours, and he's a great kid too, man. So
I watched him grow up. Yep, he and his sister are fine folks. And thank you for having me. And again, maybe somewhere down the road when the Bears are 10-0 or so, have me on again.